All right, we're live. It's Saturday. Welcome to another episode of the Hotbox, hotboxpodcast.com. This is going to be number 178 with the great mind behind stonegirls.com and Naked Weed Report. This is going to be exciting. So thanks for checking out the show, and we'll see you in a sec. On the seventh day,
by the heathen devil weed marijuana. Go it.
The terrors of tripping on fire.
Be there! Scour the spaceways! Explore vast alien worlds! This tin right here contains the whole rigmarole.
I used to smoke about an ounce of hash every day.
Good.
And it made me go a little bonkers.
Maybe if I occupy his mind with more duties, I can control his space.
Hi. Big fat doobies. Hi.
Hi. What's up, everybody? Today is Saturday, May 7th, 2016. It's episode 178 of the Hotbox. I'm Matt, hotboxpodcast.com. As always, today we got a great show for you. We got Bree Whithead, the girl that brought you the amazing site, Stone Girls, and, of course, the Naked Weed Report. Bree, how's it going? Welcome to Hotbox.
Hi, guys. How are you? I'm excited to be here. It's going to be fun.
Good to have you. So let's start at the beginning for those that may not know. What is, just real quick, Naked Weed Report?
Naked Weed Report is exactly like it sounds. It's a girl that just walks out. She starts talking about weed news, and she gets naked, and by the end of it, you've learned a little bit about cannabis, and you've seen a hot girl. And then the next girl comes out. There's usually about 3 to 5 minutes long. They're hosted on Vimeo, and they're available at nakedweedreport.com.
That's pretty cool. It's like, how can we get your attention to listen to some interesting news that you probably care about, because you probably smoke weed if you're searching for naked things on the internet.
Right.
And yeah, they actually, I watched it because I'm gonna be honest, I was a little
For research. Only for research.
Yeah, well, I was a little skeptical. I was like, are they really, like, are they just saying, like, nonsense, or are they actually doing, like, a weed report? And I was actually impressed. They're right on with, like, what they're reporting, and the nonchalance of it is pretty awesome. Like, if you've never seen it before, that was kind of my first time seeing it, and they're just like, duh, and here's what's going on, and like doesn't even skip a beat, and just, oh, and the bra's off, and well, there go the paint, and now you just learned something about weed.
Or laughed at a funny tweet, yeah. The girls are, you know what, those girls are freaking talented. They're beautiful. Two, like, beyond being beautiful, they have to take off their clothes while, like, reading a teleprompter and looking cute doing it. And, like, I've tried to do it before, and I feel like I'm a smart person, and I have nothing on them. I couldn't do it for a second.
It's hard to do, and I don't know about getting naked, but, like, trying to do reports. I used to do an Android phone, like, report, and they were always on me about, like, you can't be reading. Like, you have to look at the camera and actually... Yeah. It's hard to do. Like, I couldn't imagine trying to do that and keep my shit together and then, like, take my clothes off.
Yeah, right? Like, I mean, the pure skill.
So do you yourself still do it, or you did a couple, or what happened?
I am flattered, but no, I have yet to do any. I always tell my team if I ever lose 15 to 30 more pounds, maybe 40, and they'll jump in.
Hey, your mic is being, like, crackly. Is there?
I've got nothing for you. If we have to, I can call in or something. But
let me see. Hit the little microphone button up at the top to unmute and see if that fixes it on the screen. If, like, it's there you go. Better.
All right, guys.
No worries. It's technology. It happens all the time.
Right.
So these were your ideas, and then you got a team together to, like, make it happen, or how, like, what's the process of bringing these things to life?
So we created Stone Media Group, which back in the day was just Stone Girls and Naked Weed Report. when we created, I have an investor who we had met, we had worked on another project together, and then he kept coming back and saying he wanted to be in the cannabis space, he wanted to be in the marketing, he wanted to be in like a bunch of different spaces, and he also has a background in porn, and so it just kept like, every time we would talk, every time that we would even think of like start to brainstorm or anything, that was just always the concept. So we hit with those, we did really, really well, we were really excited about everything that happened with them. And so we launched Stone 2, High Finance Report, and Stone Insider recently. And then after we were done with those, we've got a couple of other things up our sleeves now. But Stone Media Group just became kind of easy to collectively follow in the line. Started building sites.
That's cool. It's, I mean, like I read a couple interviews that you did, and it's like you said, not every, I mean, it's not the first person to come along and put like a naked girl on something like that's been around.
No, we're not innovators. We just did it with weed. We do it better than, you know, some of the other people that are doing it. That's it.
And they're really put together well. Like you have your whole intro cut scene, and then like they come out and like it looks like a legit set. Like it's done really well.
Thank you. It is a legit set, actually. We have a really awesome recording facility in. We usually do it in Las Vegas because we have a bunch of partnerships out there, and now we do it in Vegas and Charlotte, and now we're gonna add LA to our shoot schedule this year. It's gonna be fun. Oh God!
Cool. I'm just trying to fix a little audio here.
It sounds like a transformer. I lost you. This is the beauty of being live. I still can't hear you.
Okay, is that better?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Yeah, that's weird. I wonder, I don't know. Are you using just a laptop with like a built-in mic?
I am.
That might be
I
why.
apologize. Next time I know better.
Oh, it's all good. Do you have Skype?
I do.
Maybe? Is that any better?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay. Cool. So I am, those watching live here, you guys can check it out. Here's what the site looks like. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely go take a look. stonegirls.com. And so you do have like the picture galleries and everything that like a normal porn site would have, but then you have a bunch of this weed related stuff that like you can actually read and learn stuff. So it's not just porn, it's like porn, but you're learning.
Exactly. Yeah, we have a lot of original written content. We even provide original written content to like partner websites, like Elite Daily is one that we offer content on. Yeah, so our written content is we try and call ourselves the Playboy of weed until Playboy stopped getting naked and they got bored. So, but you can stay for the articles. It's cool too.
What else are you guys? I noticed in one of the interviews you almost have like a tone that like you do a lot of different brands, and so now it seems like you're trying to focus on the Stone Media and Stone Girls Naked Weed Report, but it almost, and maybe I'm just reading into it, but it almost sounded like you had something, but then you were like, but I gotta focus on this. But what are you planning on next? Like, what's your next move besides growing this stuff?
Like me personally, or the group? So
like you and the group. I mean, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's definitely their futures are a lot. we're working on launching Stone this morning, which is a brand that I'm kind of passionate about because it's been in my back pocket since like right around when I launched Stone Girls. It's going to be basically me and my team, and I think this is why I care about it as much as I do, but me and my team getting high on Monday mornings and then talking about everything that happened the week before in weed. So it'll be fun. We're going to do a similar type podcast, and then we are also going to kind of turn it into like a video show too. But yeah, we're testing the waters in the world of podcast for Stone this morning. And my idea is I can get a lot of hot naked girls on there too. So hopefully that'll be fun.
Does that access come from your friend that's in the industry, or is that like, are those relationships that you've developed? Or are these just like girls you went to school with, or like where does that relationship come from?
No, I went to high school in the South, so I feel like that wouldn't even be an option. And I have Facebook, and some of the girls that I went to high school with, I don't know that I would put them on camera. And I just lost a bunch of friends. But I developed a lot of these relationships with our friends, like the investor that I mentioned before. He pointed me in the right direction, and then we've just cultivated them over the past 2 years. We've fallen in love with some of these girls. They're so awesome, and they introduced us to all of our friends, which is great.
Seems like it works out well.
That's absolutely.
What were you doing before all of this? Like you mentioned something about like media relations or something like that, I thought.
I own my own marketing firm. Yeah, so I also have a marketing agency, and I was doing that for about 6 months before we started this. But for that, I worked for a large company that focused on like data-driven analytics, and yeah, that was it. And sales and marketing. Those were kind of my wheelhouses before.
And that's what, like, you studied all that in school, or like how did marketing?
No, I don't have a college degree. I didn't think that spending that much money on school to come out like doing the same shit that I'm doing now was gonna make sense.
Yeah, I don't either, and I do kind of giggle at all of my friends that are like $60,000 in student debt, and like their jobs are pretty much the same.
Yeah, you're like, shit, man, sucks. But you know what? I always tell my I can't tell that story. I'm sorry. I was gonna say I basically the joke ends with I'll never really relapse into someone without a degree. And I think that if you get a degree, I mean, if you get a degree, you'll never be without one. So I guess that's a good thing, right?
Yeah, I guess that's kind of like the rap song thing where like it's better to have the gun and not need it than to need it and not have it. It's like, well, I guess, but
yeah. I don't want to come out looking not like I'm pro education, because I definitely am. If you're going to go work at a bank, get a degree.
Yeah, you gotta know how to run those numbers so that you can pull embezzling schemes off and not get caught.
Hey, exactly.
Where's your passion for weed come from? Have you just been like a pothead your whole life, or was it just kind of a recent thing when states started legalizing it, or how did that come about?
I've had a fluctuating relationship with marijuana, actually. I got arrested in school when I was 12 or 13, I don't know, somewhere around there, for having weed in school. And then I was maybe 14. That sounds better, right?
14.
And then I took pot all throughout high school. And then I kind of like chilled out for a while. I started dating this guy, and he smoked so much and didn't do anything. And so I was paying all of the bills, and so hated marijuana for a little while. And then fell back in love with it after I got rid of him. And then states started legalizing it, and it was kind of like, damn, we need to get in right now before big major media conglomerates.
Before CNN's weed channel comes in with.
Yeah.
That's
exactly.
cool, that's interesting that like you had that happen, because we talk about that a bit on this show, that it's not the drug itself that like ruins people's lives. It's the consequences of the laws surrounding the drug that ruins people's lives. And you getting caught with it as a kid probably changed your course a little bit. I mean, it doesn't sound like you got rung through the system like some of these other people have when they were younger, and but
Right.
it still, like, it affects you, and it's pretty terrible.
Yeah, I completely agree. I was talking with a friend recently about like if I get pulled over with a blunt versus if a black friend gets pulled over with a blunt, like the complete difference in the reactions that would happen. And I was talking about the fact that even then I think I only got like in school suspension and had to do like 10 hours of community service.
Oh, that's cool. So it wasn't like actual police involved, and
No, there were police involved. Like they're like but like they like that's the epitome of a white privilege, I guess. That's all I had to do, and I'm sure like if it was anybody else that wasn't a little blonde girl, from the suburbs, that I would have gotten my ass handed to me.
you probably would have gotten put in juvie for a minute.
Right? Right.
That's cool. You said in some article, I forget where I saw it, but about like other women kind of giving you shit about this, and like the whole you're objectifying or you're taking advantage, and like I like what you say about that, as far as like this is my shit. My shit doesn't affect you. This is the way I do things, and like you see a lot of that, and people do get kind of meek about that and get pushed around, and I like that you absolutely don't.
You know what? I've never been accused of being meek. I would love to be. Like, if someone called me meek, I would be flattered. I was like, oh, really? Like, I shut the fuck up for like one moment. Like, I behaved for a few seconds. Like, oh, that's good. That's good. That's cute.
Progress.
Yeah. Like, I can't wait. No, I've never been mistaken for someone that didn't have an opinion. I enjoy those arguments because they're so silly. It's so small. Like, I think that's my mentality. I think on like just lives in general is not just my feminism, but lives in general. Like, you can do whatever you want. You can be as happy as you want. Like, for example, Matt, I would never wear a yellow bandana, but you are rocking it and you look fancy in it, and like, congratulations, that's a you thing, you know what I mean? And it's just, for me, like, that's the same as your personal marijuana use, or for that aspect, mine, or my drinking, or as long as I'm not fucking with you and I'm not like pulling that bandana off your head, wear it, own it, you know what I mean? And I think that way about feminism too. You know what, like, my feminism and your feminism can be totally different, but at the end of the day, the whole idea is that we just want equality. That's all we wanted. That's all. Like, that's it. Like, I just want to be equally represented, and I just want to, like, I hope that that's what other women want. Just because I do it with my tits out doesn't mean that I'm any less of a woman, or that I don't have any other right. It's just, I don't know, I'm gonna get real passionate for a second.
No, that's good. That's gotta talk about what you're passionate about, for sure.
Absolutely.
And, yeah, I recently started this at a barter fair because I noticed I was getting a bald spot. I guess we get balder in our old age, so
That does happen.
I'm like kicking 40's door down over here, just trying to cover it up.
Wait, hold on. Are you kicking down 40?
Well, I'm 36, but I mean, 4 more years, yeah.
Holy shit! I would never hold that.
Shh, it's the weed. Don't tell anybody.
It's your beauty regimen.
And that's going back to what you said about like I've known people like that just smoke weed all day and like don't do shit. But I feel like those people, if there wasn't weed, like it would be something else, and they would do that all day and not do shit also. Like, there's just people that are unmotivated. And I like that you didn't blame the weed on his non-motivation. It was like,
oh, I was spending money on it.
Yeah. Exactly. But yeah, people would walk away from that with like a bad taste in their mouth in regards to cannabis, and you're like, that going back to smoking now, fuck y'all.
I was recently talking to a friend who was around when, who I haven't seen, but who was around when I was dating that guy, and she was like, who would have thought that you, after you kept bitching, like, just give up the weed, dude, give up the weed, like, you don't have to spend the money on it. And then at one point he became a drug dealer, and he was so awful at that, like, it was like, you can't even, like, you have to stop smoking it for a while, buddy. Like, you just gotta give it up for a little
There's
bit.
no way around it. You got a tolerance break. You're gonna try selling it, you're just gonna get in way more problems than you are now.
Yeah, it
Not
was.
everyone can sell weed.
Yeah, word to him though. He taught me a lot.
Nice. So do you guys go around and do, like, how long has the Naked Weed Report been around? Like,
Naked Weed Report has been around since 2014, and the first 16 episodes, hopefully, you cannot find anywhere. So yeah, so the
sounds like a contest.
yeah, the first 4 months we tested out some stuff. Not gonna lie, and we didn't have the beautiful women that we have today. We had a lot of women on there, just not my beautiful shining women that we have on today. And we basically took all of that down, had to kind of start over, and we relaunched in the early months of 2015, and it's been around since then.
Was that a personal thing, or were people being like, hey, this is awful, you should fix it? The idea is great, execution not so much. Or was it just you guys watching it being like, we can't put this?
Yeah, it was basically like one of the really awesome things about my team is that, okay, so we're pretty ragtag in the fact that, like, nobody's ever done any of the things that we're doing right now. They've never done them before. Like, I have people that, like, they showed up as, like, I don't know, like, one person was selling art in Key West, and now she knows everything about photo shoot production and PR. You know what I mean? Like, we're all figuring this out together. And yeah. we when we started this, like, none of my camera people knew what they were doing because they weren't videographers. You know what I mean? Like, the person that runs all of the content for Stone Media and really just manages Stone Media. I'm just the man behind the curtain at this point. Rebecca, by the way, hi Rebecca, if you're out there. She is one, she's phenomenal, she's amazing, she's my life partner, and she also, I mean, she didn't know, like, she was a bartender before this, you know, like, this wasn't like what but now she could produce a commercial for you in like 15 seconds. Like, she's kind of a giant badass.
You could never do that stuff before the internet. I feel like a lot of this kind of thing would involve a whole radio studio, and now it's like, you know, you have a couple computers and a mixer and you can broadcast to anybody. I can relate with the first few episodes getting taken down thing. Like, there's a few podcasts from 2008 that I'm not super proud of. That
you're like, nope, that's not a good representation of who I am. Yeah. It's
a pretty process, though. It's just not everyone has to sit there and watch you learn, you know?
Exactly.
Do you go to, like, weed conferences and, like, business expos? I've noticed there's starting to be a lot of those things now, and they're starting to get pretty big as far as, like, having, like, booth babes at extractor booths and you know, that kind of stuff, like old tech things would do. They'd have their booth babes to show you the new video game or something. Like, it's funny to see that transfer over into this. I was just curious if you guys ever, like, get hassled to come and do that sort of stuff.
Okay, so I would never call it being hassled, but absolutely, we go to a lot of different events, and we typically bring our Stone Girls calendars with us. And hey, so if you're listening out there and you have a brand, Stone Girls would be happy to bring their calendars and some hot girls to sign them at your booth.
Not like my birthday party or something.
Yeah, no, we're not going to show up for the party.
Set up, got it.
Yeah. No, we do. We attend a lot. we recently attended a really fun event with Social High in San Francisco. We went to the Cannabis Business Expo.
Oh, cool.
And we had a booth for Stone Media Group, and then we had a lot of partners that were out there. One of the cool ones was W Vapes, and like I mentioned before, Social High, which is like online app that you can find people to smoke with, and super duper cool. Anyway, so
I've never even heard of that. So it's an app that you can just be like, I got some weed and I'm bored, like come hang out and smoke one, or what is that?
It's the Facebook of weed, I think is how they bill it. And if you guys are curious, go to stonegirls.com and look for Social High on there. They've got some really cool stuff.
Huh. I like that. I would like it to be a little safer as far as weed laws first, because I feel like that would be a really good way to just start like busting people. But I'm sure it's all vetted and everything, and where they're based at, it sounds like it's pretty legal as far as, you're not going to get hassled for smoking weed with somebody in San Francisco.
Right, and you know what, I think, to go to the extreme, there are people out there that are, like, the KKK has groups and social networks and stuff like that, and they too will, I don't know, they'll be able to congregate and whatever else. So
it's a cool use of the technology, though. I like the whole like weed maps, what they do, and Leafly, the Seattle company, with all the weed database and everything. Like, it's cool to see this technology applied to something that's been so demonized and made illegal up until this point. That there's a lot of shit to do still and a lot of stuff to learn.
there really is a lot more to do than people. I think there's a lot of people, like, I talk to people in the weirdest places that are like, oh, it's not legal yet, it's not legal everywhere. And I'm like, no, when did you, like, were you smoking blood? Like, what?
Yeah,
like,
in bubbles.
No, it's not legal everywhere.
I start to do that here, being like, oh yeah, it is illegal just one state over, and then looking at what's happening in Montana right now, trying to get medical marijuana gotten rid of. Like, they're trying to repeal it there. So it's like one state's going backwards. Idaho has no medical, and then Washington's like, yeah, we're smoking and it's fine. Yeah, you forget that. You live in our bubble for a while.
Yeah, I really hope that 2016 brings a lot more change with the elections and who people vote for in regards to whose effort is pro-legalization.
Yeah, it's made a lot more people pay attention to it, to like the politics, especially at the smaller, like, local community level, that these people never even gave a shit about it. And now it's like, oh, this has to do with medical marijuana. Well, I'll go register to vote, and then I'll go vote for that. And like, a lot of these places, they're starting to have candidates actually come from this medical movement, because they're like, well, no one's running to oppose the person that's trying to take away medical, so I might as well go run and see what happens. And it's cool to see these people getting elected to these seats to actually make some change, like at a local level. Hopefully that spreads.
I absolutely agree. I've been pretty bad about getting involved on my local level, and I have said to the local normal chapter that I will now become way more involved.
Now it's recorded. Now you have to.
Right? I've said it on multiple different forums that I will absolutely become more involved in my local politics. Unfortunately, I live in North Carolina, and in North Carolina, it is, and this is, it is bad that I think this way, but I feel like it's more of a lost cause. I really do.
Some states it is, because it's so ingrained and the people in charge are making so much money from it being illegal. Like, it is literally a lost cause. You have to move if that's something that's important to you.
Here's the thing is that I think that, like, North Carolina right now, they're trying to figure out who can go in what bathrooms. You know what I mean? Like, they're doing dumb shit right now. So like putting marijuana on their plates, like, when you can't even get them to not let guns be held in, like, schools and stuff like that. Like, it's ridiculous. So
they're in a race to see who can do the most ridiculous.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I have a bit of apathy towards the local politics when it comes to really anything right now.
Well, and corruption runs deep, and it's been around there for a long time. And I mean, what can you do really besides try and make a bunch of money to then give to the right lobbyists so that they go do what you want? Like, I don't
Yeah.
want to play their game, but you have to a certain extent. You could definitely just ignore all of it and live off the grid and be like one of those crazy like preppers or something. But I don't know. It depends what your standard of comfortable is. That's
If you
not
had to live off, if you had to live off the grid, what kind of strain would you have to grow? Like, what's the strain for you?
like weed strain.
Yeah.
Or just food? Oh, I would probably grow something that would grow well outdoor and like a bunch of it, like fields of it, because I would need it to make rope and probably a lot of like shirts and things to cover up with, because I'm probably not going to Walmart at that point. I would probably be juicing a lot of it because I heard that that makes you healthy. You can actually juice raw cannabis and
Yeah, I saw that recently.
yeah, it's interesting that like a lot of people, it was all about the THC, right? Because that's psychoactive. So we want to get high and we want to get stoned, and now people are all about that CBD because that was, you know, stopping seizures and stuff. And now you see people juicing is they're all about the THCA, which doesn't get you stoned, but it has other, you know, health benefits to it. So it's kind of cool how that whole progression has happened.
Yeah, it is. It is really cool. But you didn't give me a strain. What's the strain that you would live off of?
Man, okay. Working where I work, I've learned a lot about that sort of stuff, and it turns out that a lot of these strains that people have are not actual strains. They're just different phenotypes of other strains. So when people ask like what strains and stuff, I don't know, because I don't know what strains I've been smoking. I could tell you what they were labeled as, but I can also tell you that some of them that are labeled the same thing look a lot different. So it's hard to say. I am a fan of like the old school Jack Herrera strains. I like Dutch Treat quite a bit. The diesels are okay. I'm not a huge fan of those, like sour diesel. What's that?
So I feel like all of those were indica references.
Oh, yeah, well, see, that's the thing, too. That I don't think this indica sativa thing matters. I think it matters as far as how the plants grow, but I think a lot of that is in people's heads. And when you smoke, you could do a blind taste test and take a sativa and an indica, and have someone tell you beforehand the pretext of what these buds are, how they'll make you feel, and that will have like a bearing on your experience of smoking those. If someone's like, oh, this is a sativa and it's going to make you super anxious, like you're going to feel that.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm there with you, Matt. I think there's a difference between indica and sativa. Every time I smoke an indica, I want to go to sleep. Every time I smoke a sativa,
now, is that because you've always been told that that's what they're supposed to be, or is it?
You know what? I'll do a blind taste test with you.
Okay.
Test.
Nice. You need to come to Washington because there's probably not a lot of choice of indicas and sativas there in North Carolina.
Yeah, it's correct. Next time I'm there, I'm gonna crash the studio.
Nice. I think a lot of it, what it is the different terpenes that are in the indicas and sativas, which the terpenes on top of like the cannabinoid content will give you certain effects depending on how your brain handles it. Everyone's different, obviously, so it's hard to really quantify that. But you can get indicas that have similar terpene profiles to sativas, and you can get sativas that have the same terpene profiles as indicas, and the effects like follow. So I don't know. It would be interesting to see, and there are like some studies being done on that. It's still all speculation right now, but it does kind of seem to be going in the direction that a lot of it is in people's heads as far as what they should be feeling when they smoke.
I don't know. I'm gonna see data on that one.
Okay, we'll revisit this because I may be wrong, and it's a good possibility, but I have a feeling that that's kind of how it is.
I don't
It's
trust
the
you.
same as like when a lot of people that still like they always say that paranoia and all of that goes along with smoking, but I think it's just the laws that make people criminals and they're scared of going to jail that paranoia comes from. When you see people smoking in these legal states, it's not as much of an issue. Same strains or what have you. No paranoia. So
I mean, I've had paranoia. I've gotten high and had paranoia about like ice cream trucks not coming to my house anymore. Like I don't know if I told you that. Like that's not the only kind of paranoia you get. Is just cops. Like there's some other real dire shit going on in the world. Like
what keeps you up at night? What do you trip out about when you smoke? Like what keeps you up at night? Like what's your paranoia?
You know what's one thing that is a reoccurring topic in my office is how scary space is. Like that one is a reoccurring
like outer space?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's a ton of shit out there just waiting to kill you.
Exactly.
Gamma ray bursts and solar flares and black hole. I mean, there's so many things.
Yeah, and then deep water ocean, and then what are some other ones?
Basically, the great unknowns. It sounds like what's deep in the ocean. We can't go there, so we don't know. In space, I mean, we know from probes, but we don't know.
Yeah, no, space is pretty terrifying. And then string theory, like a lot of times, yeah. So a lot of times in my office, like we will jump from conversations about like that. There's not enough vagina being shot in a certain thing, and then from there we'll hop over to like, would you have sex with a clone, your clone, like your personal clone? And then
if it was a chick, if my clone was like a female, then sorry, I thought you were asking me.
But no. But yes, but you can't. Also, you can't make your clone a female.
Oh, well, then why am I making a clone? Like, if I need a liver or something?
No, you just have a clone. Like, it's just like.
But for what? There had to have been a reason the clone was cloned. Am I sick and dying of something?
You don't even have to think about that part of it. The only question is, would you have sex with your clone?
Oh, only if it was a chick.
But it can't be a chick, man. Like, it's not part of clones. That's not how clones work.
But you could clone me and slip in a different Y chromosome there instead of an X or whatever. And no, okay, I don't like this game. What?
You can throw extras into it. Like you would not fit into the stone.
It's just a yes or no.
Yeah, so it's a yeah or no. Like
no.
No. Most guys that I talked to have said that they would not have sex with their clone. But I haven't asked any gay men, so.
I think you might get different answers.
Yeah, I've said that I would not have sex with my clone.
No. But if your clone was a dude of you, then would you?
No, I mean, I would have sex with a girl, so that's not a problem. But
just not you.
Right. Like, I wouldn't have sex with me. I feel like it's incestual. I feel like there's something, like, there's, like,
what if it was you, but two cousins over?
No, that doesn't work either. But so that's the like weird shit that happens in my office. Like that's what we talk about. I
want to see a video of someone being like, "Oh, I'm just running these string theory calculations. It looks like the 13th dimension is. Oh, can we get some more vagina in that shot, please? Okay, thanks. Try." Like that sounds just so awesome.
Yeah, it's a pretty ridiculous. That's why we decided we were going to do Stone this morning, because we just think that maybe people might find us a little bit funny.
Yeah, that's a cool idea for a show. I would like to just sit around on Monday mornings and talk shit about the week previous, and hell yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be fun. It'll definitely be fun.
Do you have like a date coming out for that, or is it still like ephemeral?
Unfortunately, I don't have a launch date yet. Hopefully within the next 30 days, though.
Oh, wow. So, like, soon. Cool. Yeah.
We try and move fast. I mean, I did have it in my back pocket for the past 2 years. But my team gave me hell this week because I have a rule of thumb. Like, if you have a project on your plate for 3 weeks, you've had it on your plate for too long, and you have no excuse. Like, there's no excuse for why in 3 weeks you shouldn't have been able to properly manage your time to get something done, And so Rebecca, who I mentioned earlier in, I think, one of our in between talking about clone fucking and
Right.
string theory, she was like, I'd like to point out that you've had a project on your plate for almost 2 years now. And
Oh.
she
Just,
burned me.
like, drop the mic and walk away.
You gotta be good. You gotta be good on that one.
Cool.
Yeah, that's so hopefully start this morning it'll be out soon.
Nice. So what are you smoking on? Just pretty much whatever you can get when you can get it, or I mean, there's
Like
no.
in general,
Hmm?
in general, like or tonight, or
Let's say right now.
I ate an edible.
Oh.
Yeah,
Are
I
you
had
a fan of edibles? Like
Huh?
over smoking, or
oh, sorry, I didn't hear you.
are you a fan of edibles, like more than smoking, or just kind of either or?
Nothing beats flour. Like nothing beats smoking flour. But I like I I try and have edibles on hand just for like discretion.
In case.
Yeah, I enjoy edibles. Edibles are usually more for me to relax or just like kind of chill out, veg out with
It's a different molecule. Like when you smoke it, the THC goes into your brain. When you eat it, your liver and everything metabolizes it, and it turns the THC into 11-hydroxy THC, which is more potent and a different molecule. So it's a different buzz and everything. I don't
no,
I'm not a fan.
I love it. I enjoy it for like travel. Like it's good if you're like if I have to travel to a place where it's not legal, I can take a bunch of edibles on the plane.
On the DL.
Yeah.
People and I definitely, if you live in a state that's not down, like be careful. But I've heard that people are doing that with like vape pens and extracts, taking them
yeah.
in that way and traveling because there's no smell or taste or anything to them if they're made right. Yeah, it's becoming kind of cool. It's like a spy thing almost. Like, and my weed in a cartridge that I will smoke.
I travel with concentrates as well. Stupidly, I've been drinking.
Allegedly.
I've been drinking, and I decided that I would prefer to smoke, and so I hit a vape pen while I was on a plane once. And that was a bad move.
Actually hit it, and like, damn, that's.
Yeah, in my
movie theaters. I was too scared to do it on a plane, though. That's like, I don't know. I feel like I could get kicked out of a movie theater and be like, whatever. But when you're on a plane, I think they might take a little more offense.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just like, fuck it, I do what I want. On that same trip, I got kicked out of a rave with a pin. And yeah, I've been kicked out of a lot of places because of that pin, actually.
Yeah, I would like a podcast, maybe about 10 minutes long, once a week, called Places I've Been Kicked Out of. And it's you talking about places you've been kicked out of. There you go.
There's definitely a couple. I got kicked out of a bar once, and I got kicked. This is how my business partner describes it. She got kicked out of the bar so hard that the other bars around, like we walked to other bars and they were like, you are allowed in because we know you got kicked out of that one.
That's bad when they know. What happened?
I couldn't recall, honestly. I don't remember exactly. I do know I offended a very tall woman.
Inquiring as to how the weather was up there?
No. My humor isn't that cheap. I feel I think I was just being rude and drunk, and that was it. But I'd like to say to all of the people listening, I've taken a step back from my alcohol, and I do a lot more smoking now. So, and eating edibles too. Like, try not to get kicked out of public places constantly, unless it's for marijuana.
That's right. That's it. That's awesome. You could totally like have you and then a guest and one up each other on places you've been kicked out of, and then have the audience vote.
I I feel like I do have a couple epic party girl stories. I definitely I think I've hung up my sparkly heels, but maybe not.
Hung up the party girl dress for the time being.
I've hung up my sequins for now.
That's awesome. Well, stonegirls.com is a pretty sweet site, so everyone should definitely go check it out. And we'll definitely have to get you back when you start your other show, and hopefully we can get the mic fixed. I'll try and clean up the audio as best I can. It should be okay.
Okay, cool.
Hell yeah. Nakedweedreport.com. And what's the Stone Media Group?
StoneMediaGroup.com. That has all of our websites and all of our social media on it.
That's awesome. And we'll have links to all that stuff in the show notes at hotboxpodcast.com. These guys are on Twitter and Instagram and like pretty much everywhere I looked to like kind of see what was up, they were there. So you can.
Oh yeah, we definitely are. We're all over the place. And you can follow me personally too at on Twitter at Bree2D2. The second 2 is spelled TOO.
Bree2D2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we recently
trying to figure out what that references into.
It's a
thing. It's dimension, right? 2 dimensions.
Yeah. No, it's because of how scary space is.
That's right, you guys. Space, really scary.
It is. It's terrifying. Think about it. It's weird. Don't think about it. Don't get high. Think about it. Don't do that.
No, I'm scared. Are you? I got it. Is this like more of a meteor thing happening, or just space in general?
Like,
was it the movie Gravity?
Like, think about how vast space is. Like, how
it's
ridiculously large it is, and then think about the fact that in like some perfect moment came together and made you, right? And then
I wouldn't call that perfect, but yeah,
you know what I mean. There's something serendipitous about it. But then there's somewhere out in the universe, there is something else out there that was also created that like just had its serendipitous moment, right? And then now you have weird, creepy aliens that are going to kill Will Smith.
Would it be more?
You don't know what's going to happen next.
You don't. That's true. That's what's kind of exciting about it. But would it be more creepy if we were the only ones?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
More lonely, at least.
Yeah, I think I would be sad if there was definitive proof that we were it in the universe.
I don't think that's anything that could ever be definitively proven.
Exactly. That's why I'm happy about this.
Because space is so big, you guys.
It's terrifying. Also that and alligators. Alligators are terrifying.
Alligators don't fuck around. You will be like looking for a golf ball and there goes your hand.
Exactly. Those things are terrifying. Just think about the fact that like those are dinosaurs. Those dinosaurs like walk amongst us. They've
been killing for a really long time.
Yeah.
They're really good at it.
This has absolutely nothing to do with marijuana. This is just pure
I'm stoned, and I like the fact that alligators just don't give a fuck. They roll around in the water like just checking shit out. They're like, "Sup, hippo? Sup, dirt?" And like they don't care. And then something comes along and they're like, "I think I'm gonna eat that," and then they fucking do because they don't give a fuck.
I'm terrified of alligators. Completely terrified.
We should legalize weed and illegalize alligators.
I agree with that. I'm a card-carrying member of PETA. Also, I just got a Sports Center update, just so you guys know.
Who's winning?
I don't know. Let's see.
Oh. I don't watch baseball very often, but
the Giants made a really awesome play, and nice. I don't give a shit because I'm a Dodgers fan, so I don't know why I got that.
Fuck them. All right, we should wrap this up. But thank you again, Bree. It's been awesome. And yeah, Stone Girls, Naked Weed Report, Stone Media Group. Check it out online. Hotboxpodcast.com. Check us out. We're on Google Play now. They have a podcast section. Hotbox is in there, so you can subscribe there. We're on Stitcher and, of course, Hangouts. Check out the live show and watch Bree be afraid of space and its madness. All right, guys. Girls, thanks for listening. Catch you next week.